YouTube, what's good? It's your boy, Paul Harris, aka Crazy Uncle. Hey, guess what? If this your first time tuning in, go ahead, hit the doggone subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Every time I post up new content, uh, as promised, I know I'm probably a little bit early with it, right? But I actually really did say I was gonna do part two of this because uh, last night it was actually really getting late, right? And I actually really wanted to shut it down. So um so it is like the $64,000 question or the $1 million question or the ultimate question, right? It's like, okay, well, where is Europe and who are the Europeans? And and the only reason why I'm actually really asking this question because for like this, I asked the same question about the so-called Africans, right? Because Africa is a continent with a whole lot of countries, right? And I know I said this in previous shows, right? Prior to last night, right? Where that and even and to like say like when other people like my man Dane Calloway, who's actually like really wrecking shop, letting everybody else know what the deal is, right? Because and I know I said this last night. I'm just like, okay, well, hey, if you from the United States, well, regardless of what state that you from in the United States, and you go put on that uniform, then you carry your ass across that water, right? And then they're gonna be like, okay, well, where you from? And then you will be a dumbass like you say, well, I'm from the United States. Well, duh, we know that. Where about? Right? So then when you tell them, then it actually like really brings it down to the it's more of a pinpoint area versus you saying that hey, I'm from the United States. And it's just for the simple fact that whatever country that you coming from out from the continent of Africa, you come here, right? And then we gonna be like, hey, where you from? They're not gonna say put like this. They're not gonna say Africa. They're gonna tell you what country in Africa that they are from, right? They either gonna tell you they from Egypt, uh, any of those countries over there, Nigeria, right? Sudan, you name it. That is what they're actually really gonna tell you. They're not gonna tell you that they're African, right? So let's go farther up north, right? To so-called Europe, right? And so let's look at all of the countries up there, right? Germany, Spain, France, Italy, all that stuff up there is considered to be Europe, right? Y'all can actually really go Google the map, go Google the world map, and it actually tell you all of that stuff up there is considered to be Europe, right? And then here, so now here, here's the here's the funny part, if you will. Just like the higher ups, right? They'll sit up and say, okay, well, you come from Africa, regardless of what country out of Africa that you come from. You African, thus making us African American. If you actually really want to believe the whole doggone slave boat trip over here, right? Knowing that people that was already over here, right, what Africans, and then it's just for the simple fact that You also got to understand. You also got to understand something here. Depending on when the first group of people came over to the land, which is now called North America, or even more so, the United States, you actually really got to stop and ask yourself a couple of questions. Okay, so when did this migration take place? Right? Did it take place when all of this was one landmass? Because it all was once one landmass, right? Or did everything become separate and then the migration actually really took place? Because the thing about those people, your so-called scientists, and yes, I call them so-called scientists, right? They can actually really, they can only go back so far as like who originated where and when all this stuff actually really came about, right? You know, it's too easy for people to be like, oh, it's too easy for people to say, hey, well, you know what? We really don't know. So we gonna act like we gonna actually say, okay, when all of this shit actually really froze over, right? Then they're gonna say, okay, well, hey, guess what? This is uh this is how people crossed over. So my whole deal is this, and then here's the where the whole like the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, right? So anybody that's actually like really looking at, okay, how did this come about, right? You actually like really looking at the world map of how it is today or how it was. And then my whole thing is this, right? With technology how it is today, yeah, you can go so far up and be like, all right, well there's this continent, there's that continent, there's that continent, right? But back in the day, right, you could be like, okay, well, how did they know how that looked back then when wasn't no airplanes back then, right? And even if they were, they couldn't get that damn high to actually really see, to actually really get a whole big picture of how this shit is. And then for the most part, who's to say that this stuff still ain't connected? You know? All I'm saying is that, hey, guess what? You question everything. And this is what the fuck I do. I question everything. So, so again, like I said, right? Who are the Europeans? Where's Europe? Same thing with who are the Africans? Where's Africa? We know it's a continent, right? But the people on that continent are not Africans. Every country has their own name, their own way of living, i.e., government or whatever. Although the similarities may be there, right? But once you cross a border, you know, things change slightly, but it's always going to be a slight change in how people do things, right? And if you actually really want to break this shit down to even a smaller level, right? Let's just look at your household. Let's look at how you run things in your household. And then you go to your next door neighbor, right? Whether it's your next door neighbor or the motherfucker across the street, right? just know that they're actually really gonna do things slightly different than what the fuck you do. It's the way of the world, people. So, so again, a lot of stuff, a lot of questions, a lot of questions that y'all should be asking yourself needs to be answered. Okay, so when this migration happened, what situation was the landmass? Because the thing about it, I just got through watching Interesting Piece, and they was actually really talking about the whole skin color deal and all that kind of stuff. Like, okay, why are we the color that we are? Whether they the same, whether you're the same color as me or darker than me or lighter than me, right? You gotta actually like, okay, well, how did this shit actually really take place, right? And then they actually really gave interesting points, right? Because they were saying, hey, look, if you was around the equator and that sun directly just standing constantly in your face, it may change genetic material inside of you, and then you go get you somebody, and then their genes is messed up too, and then y'all get together, right? And then the end result, you got you an albino child. Now they didn't actually really say that, right? But if you actually really got to stop and think about it for a minute, okay, how did albino people, how did they get here? Something had to happen. Something had to take place for that to happen. And then you actually got to ask yourself, okay, so what actually really happened to the first group of albino people? Were they killed off or did they get run off? Right? And then if they got ran off, where the fuck did they get run off to? I mean, we've been told that the Caucasus Mountains, Caucasian, right? But here's the deal. But here's the deal. People will always sit up here. They can sit up here and tell you all doggone day long. Well, okay, well, you can like, well, where white folks come from? Oh, they came from the Caucasus Mountains. Okay, well, where did they come from? Right? And so just like when people say, well, where did people of our color, so-called black people, where did we come from? They were like, oh, we came from Africa. Okay, where did they come from? Because again, all of this was one big ass landmass at one point. Right? And then like I said, if you don't want to believe me, look, go in the Bible, it's in Genesis, or just go on Google, type of Pangea, right? I mean, now, great the fact, I don't know if they actually really saying it's actual, if it's actual fact, or the shit actually really happened. But you can actually really like just look at the world map today, and you can put two and two together. You be like, okay, well, if I drug this here, that connects here, and bring this up, that connects there, and like, well, damn, there it is, right? So, so again, you know, and but and just like what I said, people, it really wouldn't surprise me none. And I know, and this is one of the reasons why I call myself the crazy uncle. But it really wouldn't surprise me none that all of this shit is still connected, right? Because I've been on too many. I've been on too many plane rides where these motherfuckers say, "Hey, keep your window shade down," right? Especially when I was in the motherfucking army. Matter of fact, the very first deployment that I was on, we couldn't even lift up the doggone window shade, right? So I'm just like, okay, I leave El Paso, right? El Paso looking a certain way. Then I land in what the fuck is called Saudi Arabia. And guess what? That shit look like doggone El Paso, Texas. So, and I actually really just said that. I was like, well, damn. They leave us up in the air for motherfucking 12 hours? Or however many hours it actually really took to get from doggone El Paso, Texas to Saudi Arabia. Right? Because this shit look just like El Paso, Texas. So again, it's you know, you really have to pay attention. You really have to pay attention to what is being presented to you. Right? Pay attention, and then if you still don't get it, ask doggone questions. That is the okay, well, maybe to you, right? But the only reason why it's funny to you because you have taken what people have presented to you and you find it as being truthful. Okay, well, hey, I'm just saying, if you ever been to Texas, right? Especially El Paso, Texas, you know what that shit look like, right? And then if you ever went to Saudi Arabia, right? You know what that shit look like. Oh, okay, all right. I was about to jump the gun on you there for a minute. So, uh, but all what I'm saying is that listen, people, you know, question, question everything. Don't sit up here and accept what has been taught to you, right? You're never too old to learn. You know, I've always believed that. I will believe it until the day I die. That you can always learn something new. I don't give a fuck what it is. You know, it could be something that you already knew, and you just found a better way of doing what the hell that you've been doing for years. Somebody can actually show you a better way of doing what the fuck you've been doing. Right? So my whole deal is this. My whole deal is this, people. We're all human beings here, regardless of what our skin complexion may be. And I get sick and tired of the motherfucking so-called race card due to actual skin color. Skin color has nothing to do with it because his and this is why I say what I'm about to say, right? You go outside. Let's look at transportation, right? You either finna have your own transportation, whether it be a car, a truck, or bus, bicycle, or the shoe leather express, i.e., walking, right? It's still modes of transportation, right? And then let's just look at vehicles, right? Vehicles are actually really identified as okay, car, truck, SUV, hatchback. It's all classified as vehicles, right? And let's just say let's break it down even further, right? Let's say that Chevrolet, right? They produce a, a certain type of car. Guess what? That certain type of car is gonna come in many different colors. But guess what? It's still the same car. It's just a different color. So basically, all what I'm saying is this. We're all human beings here. Motherfuck the color. Because a lot of y'all actually really got the color wrong. A lot of y'all sit up here and call me black all doggone day long. Right? But here's the deal. If indeed I was truly black, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between my actual skin color and the shirt that I got on right now. And it's just for the simple fact, if you was white, so-called white, right, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between your actual skin color and the actual shirt that you got on, considering if you got a white shirt on. You might can tell the difference. See, I ain't got no hair on my head, right? That might be the only difference that, okay, whatever your hair color is, whether it's blonde, brunette, whatever the fuck, whatever the case, whatever your hair color may be. Yeah, they may look at that and do like, and then even then they be like, okay, well, what the fuck is that? Right? So let's actually really stop all of this nonsense about so-called racism based off of color, because for again, it's the wrong color. And then, like I said, I already did a show about racism where I actually really call myself the ultimate racist. Because the thing about it though is this, people, you want to sit up here, those people that call themselves a racist or that have been classified as a racist, you ask them right now how many bones are in the human body, they couldn't tell you. How many pints of blood are in the human body, they couldn't tell you. They can't tell you why you got 2 eyes and 2 ears, why you got 10 fingers and 10 toes. They can't tell you all that, but they motherfucking racist, right? And but because the only thing that they're actually really looking at is goddamn skin color, and for the most part, it ain't. You got the skin color wrong. Yeah, you know what? I got you on that. So I mean, so my whole deal is that for those of us that actually really know what the fuck is going on, which for the most part, I truly honestly believe that there's a lot of people that actually really know what the hell is going on. They just don't actually really want to come out and say it, or they're actually really saying it, right? I mean, fortunate for me, I have this platform where I can actually come out and say, hey, guess what? I have no problem with you because you're a lighter shade than me or you're a darker shade than me. I have no problem with nobody. Now, the first time that I have a problem with you or y'all, right, is that you actually really try to come in and try to invade my family, what I have, right, and actually really try to dictate what I do on a daily basis. It's not for you to do. It's almost like what Ice Cube said that one time in one of his songs. Hey, shake my hand and make it a firm shake, right? And then from time to time, if I see you, I'll wave at you. You wave back. Hey, this is how we all come together, right? Hey man, what's your name? Well, hey, I'm so and so. This is my family. This, that, and the third. That's how we build up things, right? Let's not always pay attention to what the fuck the idiot box as what my grandma used to say, let's not let the idiot box turn us into idiots. Because I truly honestly believe that's what the fuck is going on. Right? But I also look at it like this. Everybody got to go down that road. Everybody got to, I swear, it's almost like a passage, right? You got to be like, okay, well, eventually this is where you gonna end up, right? But you need to listen to the idiot box for a while, and then you need to be able to see the light, and then you be good after the fact. But sometimes it ain't always the case. So, in our case, people, I sincerely hope that with this show and the show that I did last night, right? I sincerely hope that I always try to bring light to a certain situation, regardless of subject. To actually really be like, hey, you know what? Damn, I didn't actually really think about it that way. Or I didn't look at it that way. Right? Try to look at it from every angle possible, people. Because in order for us, because again, look, we're going to be here for a minute. We're going to be on this planet for a minute. So it really ain't going to do anybody no good if we instead of bickering and arguing at each other because of skin color. And I hate to say it, right? With Dr. King and his I Have a Dream speech. No, that ain't the way to go, right? How about you just join my hand just to join my hand, right? And I know a lot of y'all gonna say, well, it was also about character, right? But here's the deal, right? Let's not look at it. Let's go off of morals. If you think the same way that I think, and I don't know, maybe this is the exact same thing what Dr. King was talking about, right? But that whole color shit, you throw that shit out the window, right? Look at me as a man, a grown ass man, and I will look at you as the same, right? And let's look at everybody the same way. Whether you're a man, whether you're a grown ass man or a grown ass woman, right? Or you are in the making to becoming a grown ass woman or a grown ass man, right? Motherfuck the skin color. And motherfuck where the fuck you come from or where the hell you think that you come from. Guess what? We all here. We all here on the planet Earth. And we're going to be here for a while, people. So, with that being said, hey, guess what? Tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell Big Dad, tell Big Bertha, your uncle, your auntie, your grandma, your papa, motherfucker next door, across the street, round the corner. Paulus Harris, a.k.a. Crazy Uncle. Till next time.